So here we are, 4 months later. The doors of our churches are going to be opening this Sunday, the 28th. There's going to be a sign right outside this door in alcove indicating this is one of your entrances. For those of you who wish to come to our contemporary services, going to be offered online. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Reserving a spot online, spots online at about 8 and 9:30. 8 and 9:30. So if you want to come to one of these services, this is one of your entrances off of alcove. And just as you come through the hallway here, there's going to be a sanitizing station urging you to use some hand sanitizer. For this service, we urge you only to use the restrooms that are down the hall towards the elevators, towards the nursery, towards the children's Sunday school. Because after the services, we have to clean everything, so to hold it down to 2 toiletry areas, we ask you just to use those bathrooms down there. In we go. So this is the fellowship hall. As you know it, there's still some of our equipment up. That's going to be gone over the next couple of days. Our thought and idea, as we've been talking about this for about 3 months, is how are we going to do this? As you can see, there's chairs in pairs. And we're easily going to get 70 chairs in here. Our hope is to have 70 people at each worship service. We're going to have 4 worship services, including Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. So we hope to get everyone in here. As you can see, what we've done, if you are a group of 1, then you just move a chair. And you're sitting by yourself with about 6 feet from front to back and side to side. If you're a group of 2, you already have it. If you're a group of 3, like a self-help place there. There's a group of 3. If you're a group of 4, then you're a group of 4. If you're a group of 5 sparks, then there'll be a couple of empty chairs, and you can just move the 5th chair over here. So this is the way, all the way from the back to the front, that this space is going to look like. For our 8 o'clock and 9:30 services, the front row is going to be far back enough away from the stage, and the stage has had some great changes and some renovation to it, to where there shouldn't be any danger involved. If you're worried about the choir singing, the praise team singing, then sit further back or sit up front and wear a mask. Down here is face mask optional. This is all about love and concern for other people. And I know that some people have extreme ideas about this, both left and right, and a bunch in the middle. Face masks are going to be available here. I request that you seriously consider wearing one to make as many people comfortable to come back to our churches. But that's what it's about. It's not about me, not about West, not about you, but it is about you because we want you to come back. It's about the people that may feel uncomfortable. So I hope, while not everyone, I would hope we see an awful lot of face masks down here for these 2 services, 8 and 9:30. Let's cut this and we'll go in the other door. So here we are, and many of you use this entrance off the breezeway, off the playground area. Again, a hand sanitizer right here that you'll be encouraged to use just as you walk in the door. You can get a slight glimpse of a stage area that's going to be completed probably by this Wednesday. It gives us more floor space. It gets some of the band members out of the dungeon back there, and just more floor space for kids or for anything that we use this for. The first row is probably going to be back maybe 20, 25 feet away from the first singers. I haven't seen a single report that says that any of this stuff, if it exists, ever goes that far. So the front row will be about back here at these first windows. To register online, that went live this morning. This is Monday morning. It's already live. So if you want to come to the 9:30 service, I would suggest you sign up like today. Because when it gets to 70, it's going to be done. The ushers at either door are going to have a list of who has reserved for the service. And when those people come in or don't come in, once the service begins, then whoever didn't reserve for the service wants to come in, then they'll be able to come in. But I think many of you will want the 9:30 service, and I hope that if it's all available to you is the 8 o'clock service, then I hope you'll come and join us for that one as well, for Pete, the praise band, 2 worship services, 8 and 9:30 in the fellowship hall. Just a tinge more information here. Sunday school classes and other small groups are not going to be able to meet on Sunday mornings. However, we have devised a plan to where if small groups, Sunday school classes, the men's group, whatever, wish to meet throughout the week, and there's going to be a couple slots on Sunday afternoon, when no one else is in the building, we're going to encourage everyone to meet here in the fellowship hall, so there's only one space that we have to come in and sanitize. Because let's say your small group meets between 3 and 4 on Sunday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, Saturday afternoon. Then staff have to come in here and sanitize, so that has to be about an hour in between. So small groups will have an opportunity to contact Rhonda in the office and come up with a time every week when you want to meet for an hour, and we'll have that set up for you. Nursery is going to be open. We've had enough respondents that want to utilize the nursery, and that's good and that's great. But contact the church office for that, contact Lisa for that, contact just someone here, and that space will be made available for you for all 4 services, and that's 8 o'clock and 9:30 here. We're going to go talk about the other ones in a minute. We sent this church reopening congregant protocol out last week. If you have not looked at that, please look at this. This is just the beginning. This is the first of several means of letting you know how we're going to do this. And we've talked to lots of other churches, not just here, but around the United States, and we've compiled as best as we can. Going out today is a more complex document, and that's phase 1, 2, 3. Phase 1 is where we are this week. How many weeks is that going to be? No idea. When we can go to phase 2, we're going to have about 50% occupancy. Phase 3 is when we get back to as near normal as near normal is going to be. But that's coming out. It's going to answer a lot more questions. That's coming out later today, just right after we put this video up. Welcome back. After 4 months, we are finally going to be reopening this coming Sunday, June the 28th. For the many folks that are dying, crying, praying to get back into our beautiful sanctuary, we're going to have worship services here at 11:15. Overflow, and we're going to talk about that down in the fellowship hall also at 11:15. We'll talk about that in a minute. Here at 11:15 on Sunday, we have to do 11:15 because we have to sanitize the fellowship hall area for overflow after that 9:30 service. So 11:15, as you can see in documents, we'll look at the documents in a minute. We're asking you to come no earlier than 15 minutes because we're still preparing the space. We're going to be running and gunning between all these services. So come in at 11. The service begins at 11:15 on Sunday, 6 o'clock on Wednesdays for those that wish to come and just can't get signed up or reserved for the Sunday service. So when you first come in the door, there'll be a hand sanitizer on every side. It'll be a nice little sign. Please use a hand sanitizer in them. Sign everywhere, we have signs everywhere. You come right inside the door and you're offering, and you've been doing, gosh. The members of this church have been doing so great. And even non-members, even people who have just watched some of our stuff online have sent us gracious letters and sent us gifts to God through this church. We're going to have a box here as we enter, an offering receptacle here. We'll show you the one where we're going to go as we go out. So this is going to be the only entry, one-way entry, only the center door. Ushers are going to ask everyone for the first few weeks at least to come only down the center aisle. When you come in, it's going to be every other row. We purchased some nice white rope. It's going to be blocking off one of the rows, so there's 6 feet separation. We're going to have a total of 17 rows open. If we can expand that by a little over 7, this first week it's 70 people. We're going to have to see what that looks like, how that works. We can expand it by 10, 15, we will. If we have to drop it by 5, we will. So every other row is going to be blocked off by nice, pretty white tape. Nothing ugly. I've heard some churches are using the blue painter's tape. We're not doing that. Nice white row. Every other row. If you're by yourself, you sit by yourself. If there's 2 of you, there's 2. If there's 3, there's 3. If there's however many in one household, and then we ask you to have just about an arm's length between each person between groups, and that's going to be up to you. Please do that. The worship in here on Sunday at 11:15 is going to be mandatory face masks. Those of you that feel the most at risk or feel the most comfortable, especially in these first few weeks, being in an environment is absolutely the safest it can be made. Everyone in here, children over, 10 years old, wearing face masks if children are in here. So this is going to be your space right here. So moving down to the front, every other pew means these front pews are going to be closed off. They're going to be reserved for ushers, actually. There's going to be one usher both for safety protocol and to help us lead at the end of the service. These are going to be our exit doors, left and right, out through the main office hallway, and we're going to look at those. So these front pews are not going to be for regular normal seating. I know you can't wait to get back in here. Joe is going to have a small choir, and we've talked about this for 4 months. How we're going to safely have a choir is they're going to be social distance up there in the choir loft. He's only going to have about 10 choir members, maybe 8. And we're going to have a plexiglass shield placed between just right behind the altar table, looking as nice as it can look. For your protection, a safety glass shield, plexiglass, Lexan actually, between the choir and the congregation. Nothing will be able to come from the choir out to here, as well as being at least 40 feet away. There's going to be that Lexan shield. Our only exits are going to be over here, to my left, to your right. And if you go out this hallway over here, you'll go out through the Alcovy Street exit. There'll be signs out there, and there'll be ushers out there helping you to go through that. So if you park out on Alcovy, that's where you want to go out. Or you can exit through this door over here to my right, to your left, and you can go through the hallways and out by the chapel door if you park out along the street out here or in the parking lot out behind the Henson house, soon to be moved. Ask me what soon means. You can just label that yourself. But anyway, this is our sanctuary. Let me talk about these just for a moment. We sent this out both by snail mail, by USPS, and on Facebook and on our website, as well as email blast last week. This is the basic church opening protocol. First pass, first bit of information, not all the information, the first bit of information. We didn't want to flood you all at once. Please look at this, see this, digest this if you have not. It's going to mean everything as far as you're coming back here safely, as joyfully, and just as warmly as possible. Church protocol. One that's going to go out later today after this video, we know it's been uploaded to Facebook and through our email blast. I'll link to that. Is going to be this document. Look at that. Please digest that. Look it over, be comfortable. Just don't look at the heading, please, and then move on. It shows phase 1, which is where we are this coming Sunday. How long that will last, a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, we have no idea, knowing. It's going to have a phase 2 with some slightly different situations. So in the state of Georgia, and they're up at 35% occupancy right now, again, we assume our first week is going to be 70. We can up that a little bit, we will. And be safe, be safe. So phase 2 is when Georgia goes to about 50%, or whatever the next step is for the state of Georgia. And we feel comfortable with it for you. And then the last phase 3 is when we get back to whatever the new normal, old normal, some old coat, new coat. There's no more old coat, so maybe it's going to be all good. There's no more new coat, it's all old coat. So make sure this is going to answer most of your questions. Contact the church office for any questions. Please look at these first. These are going to answer 99.9% of all your questions. Small groups, Sunday school classes, those of you that want to meet. We're going to open up after the 1st of July. Contact Rhonda in the church office. And small groups, Sunday schools, men's groups, women's groups, children, youth, Red Cross, etc. They're going to be able to reserve a time and a space in this church when there's no one else here. So not Sunday morning. Not Sunday morning, because we, staff, we have to sanitize after every group, the whole place after everyone comes in. So I'll ask you to contact Rhonda. Let's say the open doors. The last Sunday school class that Marty and I started, opened, and now they're off and running on their own. If they want to meet, let's say on a Sunday afternoon at 6 o'clock, if they're the first ones to call into Rhonda and reserve that spot, then we will have the fellowship hall set up for them, however they want it, chairs, tables, both, from 6 to 7 o'clock. so that we'll know that when they shut down at 7 o'clock and leave, our staff can go in there and sanitize the space. So whatever day, not Sunday morning, we logistically right now cannot do that. So any time after church on Sunday, if your small group wants to meet, please coordinate that with Rhonda, and she will happily, gladly get you in on that calendar right there. So that's small groups. In here at 11:15, face mask mandatory, at risk. Everyone that comes in here is going to be wearing a mask, except for the speakers and except for the choir folks. Overflow, 11:15. There's going to be 2 11:15 services running concurrently. Same music, same preacher. We're going to have some staff down the fellowship hall. You're familiar, we do this sometimes around Easter, sometimes around Christmas, especially Easter. We're going to be able to fit about 70 people down there. We'll have to see how the 28th goes. Maybe a few more, maybe a few less. But 70 this first Sunday, and it's going to be live streamed down there. It's face masks strongly advised, but not mandatory. And I know that some people are just leaping for joy with that because it's not mandatory. The reason it's so strongly advised, and we're going to have lots of face masks here in case you forget yours, or you're in this space at 11:15 and you have to wear one. We'll have them for you to keep. We're doing this for the safety and to love other people. For people that need to feel the most comfortable, to know that as you're breathing, as you're singing, as you're coughing, that maybe that you, and you probably don't have this, but hundreds of thousands of people do. So it's somewhere, it's in this county, it's in this community. To make people safe, we're asking you to love the other people as much as yourself and wear a face mask for them. That being said, 11:15 in the fellowship hall is going to be face mask optional. It's going to be a little bit more relaxed. As well as our first 2 services at 8 o'clock. I bet a lot of you can't wait to come at 8 o'clock to worship in the fellowship hall. But some people will be down there doing that. 8 and 9:30 down there. So there we go. This is going to be coming up in a little bit. Please be familiar with this. This is going to answer most of your questions. We look so forward to your coming back. With prayer and joy, and the music's going to be as uplifting as we can make it, and we just want you to come back into this worship space. And in our first couple Sundays, we're going to praise God, thank Him for His salvation in our lives, and allowing us back into His house. See you Sunday.